last week. Zoltan talked about the new Dojo tutorial series, and there are new videos. I haven't watched them, but I see there are tweets about the new videos. So I have to watch them, at least in background. So that's great. Is there a link now to the documentation, or is he waiting for all the videos to be released? That is necessary. You should at least provide a link to the channel. So that Dean didn't show anything, and we talked about things that I forgot about today. 2020. So what's the name of the new
AirPod Max?
AirPod Max. Okay, just for history. So if one day we look back at the video, we know that this day Apple released the AirPod Max, and that's the best thing ever. Then what else? Demos.
Yeah, I've got the demo that I promised last week.
Oh, it would be an old one, a redo, but okay. So one demo. Anyone else?
Yes.
Oh, well, I need to remove that thing here. This is the chat. So Antoine.
Admin dashboard.
I've seen that.
Admin dashboard.
Yeah, I've seen that. We've had a dashboard for 5 years already, so we'll see. Anyone else? Oh, nobody was accepting people. Oh. No demos. Okay, good. We'll see with that. Did I do anything? I merged some stuff, but nothing interesting. And topics, if any, I don't think so. Status. So status. Oh, topics. Topics. Orchard one. Yes, and you see, I went down to the 22nd of June, 2015, to find something. And I cloned, well, and I ran 3 different versions of Orchard. We'll see. So what do we have? We merged that thing, improve build script to not fail when there is a JS warning. So Aaron was also active on Orchard Core, updated the deployment scripts for Azure App Service to fix some bugs. So that's all good. So this way you can just git deploy on Azure App Service. When you commit on Git, it will automatically deploy and the script is updated, and the NuGet client also. Okay. So that's good. Orchard Core fetch. Fetch. 1st of December. This is what time? This is my time. 01. What does it mean? It means 1 AM. So I will go up, right? That's weird that so many changes in the morning. Yes, but we saw that. Okay, good. So this one, a new contributor, Tropic Stefan. Chantieri, LocalLock expiration and timeout warning. Some feedback we gave about what to log and not to log when there is a lock expiration. That's good. See, that's how you do looking. Use these curly braces with no dollars. This is a custom syntax in the log string, and then the values there. That's good. The goal is that there is no allocation of the string whenever you log something. So this one will allocate. Admin UI consistency. This is dark mode v3. This one is not here. No. Consistency. So I assume some things were not consistent.
I think that's search bars and bulk actions for everything in a consistent way.
And a lot of shortcodes. And sitemaps. What's the relationship?
Bringing all that, all the kind of search stuff in, so you can have filters on them.
I'm kidding, because you made shortcodes and sitemaps. That's why I'm saying that. But then I saw that templates was done also not correctly, so I'm like, okay, fine. We all make mistakes. I assume. Well, it's a mistake, so it's improving apparently. Boo! Well, okay, well, boo usually at the bottom. Content options, render. Oh yeah, because we use a single view for two of them. Okay. Okay. Fix MySql casing in functional tests because it's case sensitive. That's what Dean found out. And some other issues with that. Okay, and it works now. So yeah, so this is the result of last week when at the beginning of the meeting, we started the integration test. Look at the result. Actually, it failed on the MySql, and this is the fix here. So you test functional test all database, this, and this is when it failed, and then Dean fixed the issue and tried it multiple times. So what we said is that we could define a schedule once a day, once a week, and file an issue if it fails. This is what we did on AutorouteS actually on Atomicity, because the functional tests were very slow, much slower than that, like 2 hours. We were just running them at night. And here they all pass, beautiful. No artifacts, only when it fails. It's good. AutoroutesEntries, Atomicity, and size. So this is a PR that allows for synchronization between multiple nodes of a cluster, specifically for autoroutes. So if you are on one node and you create a route, autoroute, then the other nodes will update their autoroute maps, their route mapping for the new autoroute. Because it's just about, not just about data to load, it's about also updating the resolution list, the dictionary that maps content items to routes, so that, and it's in MVC. So you have, that's why there is this structure, which is the Autoroute part. Where is that? AutorouteEntries. Okay. So this one will be used whenever a request to find the correct route. And so this structure is updated automatically in a distributed way. And what it used to be is this document, or let's say this one, yeah, this document was stored in a shared cache like Redis, and it will be updated. And Jean-Thierry made some optimizations to make it smaller, to then to just compute the differences, to update this document. And finally, the solution that we agreed on was to use the AutoroutePartIndex, the same way we use the Lucene index to update the content items. Well, the indexing feature to update the Lucene index, we use this YesSql index to detect what has changed since last element we synchronized, because every YesSql index is updating things with an incremental identifier. So if there is a change on one autoroute part, it's not updating the previous indexes. It's just adding new indexes and removing the previous one. This way we can track what's new on the table. So now JQuery is using this index to just sync every node to the new state. So it's like a CQRS pattern, command query, whatever pattern. So the index just shows all the new things that happened and on the autoroute parts, and then it's applied directly on the AutorouteEntries structure, and every node does that. So that's very good. And the trick here, which Dean discovered, crazy trick, is that if we take the index provider, so the issue that we had was, how do we detect that something has been removed? Because the index, the autoroute index, just stores what's updated and new, not what has been removed. There is no history of something removed. But so we're not storing that. And to prevent that, Dean saw that we could implement content handler base also with IndexProvider, such that this instance is the same instance, the same singleton, no, scoped instance during the request, is both aware of all the changes on the content items and also will provide what indexes to create. And by doing that, we can detect what has been removed during a scope session and then create some entries in the index to also store what content items have been removed, such that the autoroutes of other nodes can be synchronized. So that's a very nice way to do that. And then I assume later on the same pattern is applied to other things that need to be synchronized across different nodes. But that's the idea of that. So super cool. Good. So just to enable distributed autoroutes in a more optimized way, because before it was uploading, downloading the full autoroutes document. And it's fine if you have a standard website, but if you have hundreds of thousands or millions of routes, then it's an issue if you are also distributed. So that's an issue for people who have other issues, but that could be an issue. So this way it's done correctly and it can scale very, very well. Scale out. So use render when building, SummaryAdmin shapes. No more async because that's not necessary. And a new shape. Is that a new shape? Dynamic and shape. No, just location. So what is there? What is new here? Because I see a lot of new lines. RenderWhen. I don't remember the RenderWhen. Oh, this is just to provide a condition so as to when to actually render this thing. I think I remember when you added that. Just nitpicking here, a single wait is not necessary because you can just return that. So you can just say action and return that, but that's the same, just very slight difference. One allocation less, but for sure doesn't make much sense. Does user have permission at the driver level? Yeah, that's why you added that. I remember the permissions. Okay. Export content. Same thing. This one is necessary. Okay. Permissions were missing on these ones. Content items action bar sticky on scrolling. Content admin list. Okay. Graphiql 110. Remove jQuery-ui from admin theme layout. Remove jQuery-ui from admin theme layout. So does it mean it's not a default anymore on the layout, just on the pages that actually need it? Taxonomy, menu part, datetime thing. Yeah, so these ones because there is a datetime picker, these ones because something must move. So I assume the draggable thing from jQuery-ui. MediaField display. Oh. Display, MediaField display. It's on the, why is it fixing? So display name. So this is displaying the MediaField by default and the path and here. Why is there a regular expression?
To check if it's an image.
So it's not good because there is no reason to use a regular expression here, just to check for the extension. The only thing you can do is someone will type a funny image name when they upload their media, and then you will just break the server because it will lock because there is no timeout here. And because you don't need a regex to do that, just file get extension and then a list contains, then you can find if it's an image. That's how it should be done. I trust you that works, but until it doesn't work.
Probably worth having an Orchard helper for
With a static list of
static list
file extensions and then easy image somewhere in the static. You could, I don't know what you said, but it's not recording. It's not recording.
So maybe a HashSet.
That works. Yep. Did we talk together about HashSets and arrays recently? I talked about that. Someone, I suggested to use HashSet instead of, I think, an array. Was it a triage? No.
Yeah, I think maybe something on the Autoroute PR we looked at that.
Oh yeah, the remove content item. Oh yes. Was it done?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you just need a collection to find something, just use a HashSet. If you don't care about order or anything, just use a HashSet. So here, but if you have a static list, then, and you know the values because you type them in the code, then it's better to have them in an array because it will be sorted, and then it will use a quick sort or whatever, binary search. Binary search, you can use a binary search on the array, which is better. But at that point, that won't change a lot. Just PS. Oh, because you have that. Yeah, no. You see, in this case, no, you just add two different extensions in the list, and that will be better than the regex. And then you say, okay, Yeah, yeah. Someone said that if it's like at an image, the thumbnail is wrong. Actually, that's the reason for that. That's great. Just remove the regular expression. It's perfect. I also asked, Isham made a lot of contribution on Fluid to add some filters for color manipulation. And he was also using regular expression, and asked him to remove them as long as you can, because it's easy. Just remove the regular expressions. Doesn't make sense to take a risk to break the server because of that. Even more that there is no timeout in this case. So just this much. It's not compiled and there is no timeout. So it's not good for the perf and for reliability. Admin UI consistency. Again, this is the dark mode before. No, that's not good. That's consistency. Sorry. I keep messing up with smart. Okay, consistency. It has to be super consistent now. Let me check. Okay. Keep quicker. Settings section. Settings. Just naming?
Yes, just renaming the parameters. A few of them were called section instead of settings.
Day of month for Cypress. Thank you, Jean-Thierry. We talked about it a few weeks ago. We thought that get month was the issue. It's not. It's get date instead of get day. And now that I read it, I'm like, sounds weird. Get date. This is the day of year, the day of the week, the day of the week, and the day of the the day of the year. Month and week, maybe. Get date, get day. Oh my god. JavaScript, if I can type JavaScript. Get date. Get date. Get day. So this, yes, okay, that explains. This is the number of the day in the week, between 0 and 6. And get date is the day in the month. Yes, okay, that explains, that solves everything. This is beautiful, and now we understand. Get date, get day. HashSet, AutoroutePartIndexProvider, that's the comment we just made. So it was a list, so it was just a scan of everything. Now it's a HashSet, so it's just a hash lookup. JQuery-ui dependency back to Media Vue components. So apparently it was missing somewhere else. Remove duplicate script folder. Okay. Placements module 2, which was merged. Would be good to have a demo about that. Is it suggested to do in?
Yeah, I was going to look at the secrets module actually that I looked at ages ago. So recycling PRs, but
yeah, if someone wants to do a demo about that, that would be great. It's a brand new feature on the admin, so that's something to look into and to have a demo for admin section in app settings with the default. Why an uppercase? I would use the lowercase.
Question. I don't know why.
Typically, the default root is actually uppercase because it's ASP.NET standard style of conventions. So it's always been uppercase.
Not sure I like it. What do you type when you go?
Lowercase will work, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure, but
and that's what we type. But if you use root URL or any of the URL helpers, that will produce the uppercase because that's the name of the root, or was.
Yeah, but this is a prefix for a route, so it could be a lowercase. It's not the controller name and or the action of the controller. It's prefix on the route.
Well, you know, it's whatever we type actually, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, Jasmine, was historically the prefix was always uppercase, which is why it stayed that way.
Yeah, I understand that.
So this setting is just for the sake of showing where to put it and that you can change it, like for visibility.
And
discoverability.
It's the only one that is uncommented. So if you uncomment another one, you don't have to remove the last comma from the other ones.
Okay. This one. Okay. All in the detail. Setting the display titles in top bar. What? Oh. What? What top bar? What is the top bar?
The nav bar. If you look at the layout.cshtml in the admin theme.
This is for the admin. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we added. Okay, I think I remember a discussion about that a year ago.
Yes.
So we find an issue.
I did almost the same than 1 year ago.
That you made a setting.
Yes.
This way, if people don't like it,
and
say I don't want it.
It's not enabled by default.
And it's not enabled by default. Okay. Good. Thank you. Support complex JSON token as parameter name. Okay. Fix DatabaseProvider in test. Interesting. Fix missing header. That's a change. Well, that's once change. Date. Correct controller context. Okay. Common properties when you get packages. Oh boy. So this is merged with default properties for every module. With symbols, with custom tags like theme and module. So we can filter in the NuGet.org site all the themes for Orchard because we have Orchard, and so the package tags will contain Orchard, and that's what we say Orchard core. And then we add, for instance, theme on this one. So it will be Orchard core and theme. Okay, looks good. Good job, Niraj. A lot of work and feedback. Options admin page. So this is a new feature from Antoine that will let us view some options that are only editable in the app settings, so that we could only in theory see in the app settings. But now we can see that in the UI and this is not a module, so that's good. With custom permissions to provide, that's perfect. This way you can only see the options that you are allowed to see. Okay, and the views. And what is that? Oh, and that's what you want to show. Okay, sorry, I said too much. I was about to look at the one name, and then I realized that's what you wanted to show maybe. Show widget content type. Okay, just nice. Show the type. Instead of just widget. Okay, it's fine. Then I did new version. Updated route indexes to make it faster. It was an issue, but not that fast. So some discussions. Same pattern for the localization entries, which has to be synchronized across nodes. So same ID with the indexing stuff. Think, where is index? There is no index? Or is it using an existing index? Probably using an existing index. Oh, there is indexing. So that's what it's doing. Preserve features, migrations, ordering. Feature, okay, this one was missing. Feature tag. Added source link package to dependency props such that the source link is activated on every module. Okay. Docs resources overview. Okay. Rename change email admin menu. Rename change email admin menu. User login. User change email.
In the security menu, there are settings.
Okay, how was the conflict?
The first one was called email, so Dean was wondering why there was an email.
Because it should be called SMTP.
Yes.
And then no more issues. Told you, you should not have changed that time.
Exactly.
So we changed one, and now we have to change 5 of them because the one is causing an issue with the other ones. Good job. And you are too proud to go back to SMTP instead of email. So this one scripts, but Jean-Thierry fixed it. So
Yeah,
was it actually
by renaming it, it removed them.
Yeah, it does cause more problems, but it's case sensitivity in Git.
Yeah, this issue. So yeah, usually we do 2 commits, like, okay, now delete it, and then another commit, okay, recreate it with the correct name.
Exactly. Probably what it needs.
The same way when we rename the module, like shortcodes, and what was the last one? So menu something, folder.
Maybe GitHub or something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also GitHub, we had the same issue with GitHub. Should not mess up with casing, like put admin lowercase, everything lowercase, and this way. Issues. Fix script integrity. Okay, we said that we should have a test for that, integration test for that. We should. Yeah, like, so which one is that? codemirror. So if we had the functional test, we should look into 404s and say, okay, we are missing something. Well, it's hard to find all the dependencies. Updated YesSql because new. Yeah, so this unique main, someone you might know, he used to work on Autoroutes. He's still using Autoroutes, but it's not speaking anymore. It's too lazy, too much work. He filed an issue because I bumped all the version dependencies, you know, in YesSql, like Dapper and everything, and including the libraries like dependency injection and abstractions. And they were actually using the previous version. They didn't have the new version. And he was right that YesSql should just use whatever minimum version it needs. And then it's up to the final project to force which version it requires. So I changed the dependencies for some things, not Dapper, MySql, and so on, but for some abstraction libraries to the lowest version possible. And then this one, the last one, themes cards. Okay, so I will let you do the demos. Let's start with Antoine, because Antoine is first in the alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can you see my screen?
Your presentation ended. Someone.
I can see your screen.
Okay. So this is a demo about the admin dashboard. That's you cannot.
Oh, and I'm recording, right? So I don't know what's happening.
Okay. Should I leave?
No, I think that's me because it's saying waiting for others to join. What should meeting? Try again to share again because you ended my presentation. So, but okay. I can't see, and I'm recording, so I need to see.
Sharing screen number 1.
How many screens do you have?
1.
So it should be screen 0.
Okay, I'm sharing.
Screen. Dean, can you try to share just to see if it's Antoine or me?
Sure.
Sure it's me.
Let me,
Ah, crap! It always works.
Did it work?
But my screen says waiting for others to join. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you're on the right meeting screen?
Maybe not. But I only have.
Because you should see a picture of one of our cats.
I see in this meeting Sebastian, Antoine, Bertrand, Dean, Gabor. I'm live.
Should I share only a window?
No, it's nothing to do with that. Let me share again. So you see I'm sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you see I'm seeing that, which is weird. Usually I see thumbnails of pictures. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, try to share again.
Can you see anything in the chat window there?
Yeah. Hello. Crap. What's happening?
Well, that's weird.
And I can say hide share option. I don't get it. So I'm not sharing anymore. Someone is sharing?
No.
No,
but
it's just
okay.
the meeting.
Dean can do the demo and I do it next week if needed.
Well, but I can't see Dean either.
Yeah, it's no good if we have no recording.
Okay.
Try again.
It is, but
worst case, I will quit the meeting and start again, and I will do 2 recordings.
Okay, sharing screen number 1. Do you see my screen?
No. So I'm leaving the meeting and I will join back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Still recording, and I can see all the thumbnails. So please share. I hope you're not share.
Okay.
And I can see your screen, and it's recording. It's beautiful. Okay, I don't know. It seems bad.
So the demo is about admin dashboard.
Ooh, the nice card.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
This is the first page when you go to the admin. So previously,
is it committed or is it new?
Previously, it was just welcome to our channel.
Is this something that is already merged?
No, it's yet
okay.
to be used.
Okay, good. Okay, cards.
Yeah, and yeah, I added some dashboard items that are made in different modules. So you can see this is the one coming from the contents. I will show you in Visual Studio. So the admin dashboard is just a welcome screen, and it uses the display manager to load any admin dashboard item shape that is made in other modules. I can show you one. For example, in orchardcore.contents, there is an admin dashboard item contents driver using this shape, so this view. So you can place it wherever you want. You can mention which display type you are going to use, and then you can use it in your view. So it will be displayed in the as a card. So there will be a title, a list, let's say a list of links, and a button to go to the main page that you want to give a shortcut to. Then you just need to register your driver like this, and it will appear on your dashboard. And as you can see, you can also inject some services like the authorization service to say that only the people having the least content permission can see the dashboard item. Yeah. And I've made a few ones like the media library, the content definition with shortcuts to go to the content types definitions and content parts definitions. And for example, a more complex one with the tenants, so it will only be displayed on the default site, and I can do a query to list how many tenants there are in the system, or I can also do a query in the user module to list how many users. And for example, I could say how many users there is and how many enabled user or disabled user or users expecting a validation there is. So multiple scenarios, and when you develop your own module, you can add a new dashboard item if you want to make statistics, something like this, and it will appear on the main page of the admin.
Cool. Then, what if I want tenants first?
I guess you could use placement if you are using your own admin theme, and that you.
So that's an answer. Then what if I don't want to see tenants?
The same way, I guess. You can hide
placement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we designed it for Orchard 1, but it never was done. And I think we designed it also for Orchard Core in the same way. And I think you're almost there because you have drivers and shapes. But the main thing I see missing is that I can't configure these different counts because I might want to configure it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't add them, remove them, move them around. That's the main concern. So that's great that we have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next step will be to be able to manage that. And this way you could have like an edit button on the tenants and choose what you want on the card itself, because maybe there are options that it could display the last 3, like for content, you could say, show me the last drafted thing. But yeah, so to do that, the next step would be to have each card be a widget or something like a widget, but at least a content item. This way you have state associated to the to each card, and you have an edit mode and a view mode. So when you edit, you go to the content editor and you can change the properties of the card if there are any property. And when it's displayed in the admin, like the same way you did that. It's displaying the shape here with the same driver. It's just that you will have in the driver a display and edit like any other widgets.
Yeah, because you wanted something like the admin widget.
In the end, that's the same. The UI is not correct, definitely, but the UI you have is better. You see, because how hard would it be to have all your cards move this way? It's not super hard because it's just a zone in jQuery-ui to drag and drop stuff. Okay, it's just a few classes of JavaScript and an event to send to a controller to define the order of each of the cards. That's it. That's the order of each of the cards when you move them. Then editing like the widgets view is the same. Yes, exactly in the widgets admin that you showed. You just click on the edit button and then you go to the content edit. So that's actually widgets, but with this controller here, that's the same thing as the widget. The layers controller is just listing all the widgets for the admin, for the dashboard, and then rendering them in a zone, and that's it. So it's the next step, I think, to do. That will be the end of the step. There will be nothing else to add, because this way people will be able to add whatever they want, even custom ones, where they want, when they want. And you don't enforce what they have to see and where they have to see it. So you see there is no layers. It's about, so here the idea is that
always and never.
Well, no, don't think about it, because this is for the front end. So there are layers because you don't want the widgets to appear all the time everywhere. That's why we have layers. But for the dashboard, there is a single layer. So it's the default layer. It's the default dashboard layer. So when you have a dashboard widget, I mean, that's for the dashboard. So they are there. So the same screen you just saw before, the same thing without the layers and without the zones. Just there is one zone again, and it's just drag and drop stuff, the things that you have here instead of the things that you have in the other screen. And you can still edit them and display them. So here it's the display mode, the summary mode, like in the widgets view that you saw. And when you edit, it goes to the content item editor, like the widgets view that you saw. This is the editor of the dashboard widgets, if you want. The same controller, the same thing. We just need to have a custom property on them, or a custom part, probably. So you know that it's a dashboard widget. And maybe you might then even be able to create 2 instances of the same widget type. That might be useful for some modules to be able to add 2 different things here of the same widget type. Like charts and things like this. You could have a chart that does something, and then you want 2 instances of that.
Yeah, for example, a list, and as you said, you want the latest 3.
Exactly. The projection. Boom. You create. You can create a projection widget that will, you just configure the query and then you see the results of the content items you want there. So a query widget, sorry, projection, 2 option 1. But yeah, so that's very good. Now we need to see the next step, and that's perfect. Everyone will love you. They always do. They already do, but they will love you more. Anyone else have some comments? Everybody agrees.
It's just that was just using the shape factory as we did in the editor, the field editors and the field displays.
Yeah, that's right. And the widget does the same thing, but then the other step driven by data and not driven by just the type is here or the shape is here.
Yeah, Dean suggested me to and helped me to do it this way.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's the first step. You have all the things here. Well, whatever you did is right. I just like to see the next step, because that's what I want to do first. Like I want to move them, and I don't want to see the content definitions there every time I open the thing, because it's not my stuff. Even if it's permission based, I mean, I have the permission. I don't want to see it, or maybe I want to see something different. I want to configure it. The opportunities are huge there.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Because that's a view model and configure the settings and use them.
The settings is the content item state. That's the idea. And that's what a widget is. And that's great. And then you can then the next step after that is to have it customizable by user. So you could have two dashboards, like someone could do a user dashboard module where you could add your custom widgets on top of the mandatory ones. That's the portal that you want that's a portal, but that's what people like. And WordPress has that. Okay, you have that also because WordPress has that and it's super useful. You log into your WordPress site, you see the last comments, the last post, and you can see what's drafted and you can publish or the workflows running, and then you can click it, and yeah, that's great. Super useful. So I'm super happy you do that. Now I need to work with you on making it even better. Like,
okay.
Right. And even if you
that header is huge, though. You need it.
Dude, it's the max, the header pods max, whatever you want. It's the best.
Jumbotron.
First it was this like this.
You know here, this should be a widget. Boom, problem solved.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
The first one.
Don't like it? Click the edit button and change the HTML inside. And that's what people want. And they really want that. And there is nothing to do. It's just a widget. Boom, you can move it. Span 3, done.
Do it. Do it.
Could we merge this though for all one? Or are we waiting to have the full feature working?
You can if it's done. I don't mind because it won't break anyone if we decide to make it the day we make it work with the new layout. Okay, it won't break anyone. People will be like, oh, my stuff has moved. Well, we can pre-initialize the instances of the widgets like it was before if you liked it. If it's a feature, I prefer like to have it as a feature. It's easy to make it feature in case people don't want it. Maybe it's slow because here I see you are loading the list of tenants. I don't know how costly it is to display, to count the users every time on the dashboard. I have no idea. I assume it's fine, but maybe someone will want to remove it because they say I don't want it. So, but that's fine to merge it because it's useful and it's not breaking if tomorrow we decide to do something else. It's nice. It's clean.
Yeah.
Good. But don't stop. Don't put it somewhere and stop working on that. We need to continue on the momentum and do the layout thing. And when I say layout, it can be the widget stuff. It could also be like we said in Orchard1, we wanted to do the engineering layout or the flow here. It could be also a flow so you can decide how big the widget is, if it takes 2 spans, 1 span, things like this, because maybe you want to, like the title at the top, you want it to take the full screen, the full length. Okay, how do you say that? Maybe it's a setting for the widget part, for the admin dashboard widget part, which has a size option. But that's also what the flow part does. So should we use the flow part instead? Should it be a content item managed by the flow part? And then when you edit it, you just can put whatever you want. It's a content item and you just render it in the admin. That would be even more simple.
So, yeah. Just quickly, this is the settings I was talking about.
It's nice.
If you save it, the title is here. And if you enable it, the title is in the navbar.
Okay, good. Perfect. Dean.
Yes. Right, wake up. Okay, so I was going to have a look at a module that we
just a comment for Jasmine. Will it be ready? Can we make it for Orchard1? Dude, everything we ship by definition will be before Orchard1. There will never be an Orchard1. Orchard1.
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure about that.
Sorry, Dean. You can.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So this is maybe another feature for before Orchard1. We talked a long time ago now about email passwords and secrets and how to manage them when you've got multiple servers, and how to kind of export them to a file safely with encryption. So this is a continuation of this one. So I showed a demo on this a few months ago now probably, and it's just kind of slowly getting back to it. But the idea was to abstract some of the places that we store and use secrets. For example, if we look at the email one, which was always the example we were using, here we have a password which gets stored with data protection, which is fine and encrypted at rest. But if I export this to my production server, the data protection keys are likely to be different, so the password no longer works, and it will throw an exception when you're working on it. So what I've come up with instead is the concept of having a secret, where you will select the secret to use there, and we manage that secret and the value of it as a value here, and we can choose where to store that. We can store it in a database secret store, or we can store it through configuration, which means that it's read-only rather than write as well. And we'll probably look at doing a key vault provider for it at some point as well. So that was email. One of the other things we wanted to touch on when we did it as well was workflows and forms. So if I find the form that I wrote, earlier on here. So normally when we have a form, we use an HTTP request event to kind of drive the form to the workflow. Well, my computer's going so slow today.
You need better headset to go faster.
Exactly. I need some Apple AirPods is what I need. So normally what we have is a token here, which is, again, protected with data protection. And we have the problem that when I use this in the form widget over here, that all works. But when I move it to my production server, it doesn't, because the token's no longer valid because it's been stored with a local data protection key. So we introduced a secret here as well, which is a workflow secret, which, and actually let's create a new one because it's a nice little bit of UI. So if we create a new HTTP request, we can either select an existing one or create a new one. And if we create a new one, it will go away and make that for us. So kind of auto-generated. Or if we were to select an existing one, you'll get a little message here saying that the existing one doesn't belong to this activity, so you can choose to link it. But we won't do that because that will break my form. So what we can do now is if we go back to the form itself, we have the same picker here. We can either choose to send it to the action as you previously did, or send it to a controller action, or wherever you like. Or if you are using the secret module, you can pick your secret, and that will overwrite the action value here. So when we go to this form and view it, and for argument's sake, I'll delete that action. the page. My form's a bit lazy, all it's got is a submit button. But it's now been able to submit to the workflow without knowing the exact URL, just by knowing the secret that it attaches to. So if we were to come down and actually have a look at some of these secrets that are down here now. The workflow one is the same kind of thing. You've got where it's stored, so we could move it to the configuration. We've got the picker here, so this just finds all the workflows that have an HTTP request event in them and makes them available when it's a starting activity, and the same settings for token size. The difference with this one is that the token's generated dynamically and cached in memory as the form, for example, is drawn. And the last thing we had to kind of look at is a more complex bit of it all, but is the how you can then export these as deployment plans and save them. So we have a concept of an RSA secret, and I'll show you this one in my configuration because I put it in configuration. So what I've done here is I've stored the public and private key in a configuration store. It's the key name, the private key, and the public key. I could put this in an environment variable, or we could have another store as well. And then when I go to do a deployment, I can now deploy these, and when they're exported, they'll be encrypted with the public key that's set here. And if I was to go to another tenant or another machine or a production server, you can see that there's no secrets here because I just deleted them. This is a different tenant called secret destination. And because I have the private key for decrypting it available in my configuration, I can now import this. Not with the JSON import though. Oh, not that one, because that's the wrong key. So I can now import that. And now I have the two secrets that I'd put in the file before when I was preparing for this. So if we looked at that recipe file, this one here, what we'll see, a couple of steps here, which I'll talk about in a second, but the secret, the text secret itself, which was the email secret, is encrypted here, uses a little decrypt method, and the private keys themselves don't actually go in this file. So it's safe to do the export as such, because you can now, and I know what will happen is as soon as somebody does this, they'll put this straight in Git. That's what would happen at our office, I'm sure, because they're set up for the system. But it now becomes a little bit safer because they won't actually be usable unless you've got this private key either installed on the machine or installed through configuration. So you know, the choice of how to transmit it is up to you, but we don't transmit it. So the other thing this recipe did is it just turned on a couple of features. It made a binding to the configuration store for the export to file one, and then it was able to import the email secret yeah, the email secret here. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show.
Cool. Why not a token for the workflow URL? Sorry, a token, a filter or shortcode pattern instead of overriding whatever is the action.
So last time we did this, I think a few months ago now, well, the first time we did this, you said use a liquid filter. So the next time we demoed it, I did a liquid filter, and you said, no, don't do a liquid filter.
Good. That's a good answer. That's a perfect answer.
Which is actually better because the UI for this is much nicer and it's much cleaner. Having a filter was just another thing that somebody needs to understand in order to do something that should be quite.
I'm sure I said, how is the discoverability? How do I know which secrets I can do? And because it's two-step, and now you can list the
on the wrong server. So what was happening before when we went to say this email one, for example, and to go here and type emails pipe to text secret.
So why not then force people to use a password secret and just provide a link to that or pop-up or whatever to go there and then come back to the password to select the one they created in the store?
So probably this is about not breaking stuff at the moment. So I've kept the password there because that's what everybody's using at the moment. We could adapt this one as well so that it will actually go and create one for you, like I did with the workflows.
And typically the password, email password, that can be migrated because we can decrypt it.
Well, the email password, we could migrate it, but then we have to
create it.
We then have to encrypt it. So it's you can go both ways with it.
What I'm saying is that the migration could create the secret store, the entry in the secret store, and
so you can migrate people to it, you mean?
Yeah, so they don't type the password anymore. We can just have the secret store, and you select what secret you want to use.
That's probably something we could do. Yeah.
So you see, because this UI is weird. The same way in the workflow where you have the action with a token, but well, if you type a password at the bottom, then this is the one that you're using.
Yeah, with the workflows, and I was thinking about this because this is worth talking about. We've got this handle incoming HTTP request, which has all this stuff here. So I almost made another one called secret incoming HTTP request, and split them out. And
okay, and the same remark I will do is, why not just have one that will, when you generate a URL, because it has a secret, it will always generate it as a secret, and you can't see it unless you go to the secret store to see it. Or you can see it, but it's read-only because it's taken from the secret.
Yeah, so again, probably the reason for not doing that here was because these are not always used for workflows, and they're not always used for internal Orchard stuff. So you still need to have this one for the externals, I suppose.
Cool. Okay,
because with the workflows. Yeah, that could work. I almost wonder if this one might be better as a separate activity or a new activity that just inherits from the sheet one.
I don't like the confusion here.
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe it's a different activity that is dedicated for generating a workflow, a form callback. Yeah,
maybe. An internal one, and leave this one alone, which is useful for
custom ones.
Custom ones.
And if the custom one wants to use a secret, you have the liquid stuff. Okay, good.
Well, I got.
Or maybe the one should be called secret whatever, secret base, as you said that. That's what you said. Okay, the secret HTTP request, secret, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
because that can connect directly too. And what's the other thing? The other thing I have to figure out is a little bit on some of the dependencies with it, because at the moment recipes depend on it so that you can use this through setup, but I think I can probably get rid of that dependency just by having a null one so that it's not required. But yeah, that's a little bit of work to do, and Kevin's quite keen for the OpenID module to use the RSA stuff, because there's some little things with the certificates there that it would be better if they were in there. And at some point, it will not just be the email that has the option, but some of the other ones where we have passwords stored. I think I added them to.
And when you say email, you actually mean SMTP, right?
Yeah, I mean SMTP, because it's not just email; it's SMTP. So I've already added them to the remote instance. So this will choose which secret to use for signing and for encryption and for signing, and which secret to use for the actual API key. So it's the same thing. So we could migrate away from the API key and just move straight to secret.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. Any other thoughts?
That's good. Thank you very much. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So, still recording, and we'll talk about it next week. Nothing interesting. Lots of demos, good demos. Thanks everyone. SMTP, SMTP, the best. And all done. So I assume that next meeting is next Thursday. Nothing's preventing, and next week the 15th. That's good also. So see you. Thank you everyone. See you next week or next Thursday for the triage. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.